Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn Gaming. Paul speaking, and welcome to a look at a new Nintendo Switch game that has been released recently. This is Roosts, a game of woodland might and right. This comes from Direwolf Digital, and this is another one of their excellent board game conversions. This is an absolutely excellent board game, one of my favourites. I've got this and the Clockwork expansion, which allows for solo play, but we'll talk more about that shortly. As I say, it's recently come out. It'll be on the eShop now. Came out on the 16th of November, and we'll set you back £15.49, $19.99. Let's have a quick look around it. I'm not going to go massively into the rules. I'll explain why that is shortly. So you've got a tutorial. I've already done this on the PC and iPhone. I've got this on all sorts of devices. But if you go through the tutorials here, you can learn how to play each of the factions. The base game comes with 4 factions, all play very differently. Again, talk more about that and why I can't really go through all the rules. But there's 4 different factions there that you can play. And then in the expansion games, which I need to look into, because when I went to the shop option on the menu here, it doesn't seem the expansions are up there yet to buy, and I'm sure they must be coming. But anyway, you've got the introduction to the expansions. The Clockwork expansions has played some of the other factions that are DLC that you can add into the game too. So really worth. First thing you do there is go through the tutorial. It will teach you how to play the game, the basics. Then it will teach you specifically how each faction plays, which is really useful, and as I say, pretty much needed if you don't know how to play the game. We've got online play, but we're just going to do a local play for now. Show you how the game plays. I don't know if it's got the Clockwork expansion built in, actually. Let's have a look. I don't think it's got proper solo play built in. So that is an expansion to the board game and the digital version. It's called the Clockwork expansion and comes with sort of robot players. Local pass and play as well, which is also very welcome. And we've got these challenges you can do to earn badges. Plenty of those to do for some longevity in the game. So it's really cool. So let's get into a game. I think we've got to do solo play actually, and then we just pick who we want to be included in the game. So we've got these factions. We've got the Marquis de Cat, the Eerie Dynasty, the Woodland Alliance, and the Vagabond. So they come in the base game, and the expansions will add in more factions. We're just going to go with the base game here, which is the recommended game, which is the Marquis de Cat against the Eerie Dynasty, but we can't pick those at the minute. Let's see if we can get rid of those. We'll just play a 2-player game. So the Eerie Dynasty against the Marquis de Cat is the recommended game when you're learning. They're the 2 of the easier factions to learn. Just create a game. You might be able to hear in the background, we've got some really cool music. I love the music in this game. It's kind of like, I don't know what you'd classify as, bluegrass maybe, I don't know. It's kind of really funky anyway. It does loop and get a little bit repetitive, but it's that good that it doesn't usually bother me. So this is the standard game of Root, as I say. This is the Marquis de Cat, bottom left hand corner. It's our character there. We are the cat race. You press the L button, you get the card up. These are the very similar cards and graphics that the base, the board game comes with. The actual physical board game, you get big cardboard player mats like this, and to help you keep track of everything. I don't know how I'm going to explain this game. Let's try. So basically, it's a point scoring game. So first team to 30 points, and each team scores points very differently, but they do all score on the same track, but how they get those points depends on each faction. This is the main game board. You've got this large area of woodland with these little round pockets of I don't know, little areas in little openings, and where you will move your characters around. You see the pathways there that connect them. That comes into play as well when you're moving your characters around or moving materials from one area to another to build things. You have to keep an eye on those. Right at the bottom of the screen, we've got our cards. You start with a hand of cards. Can't show you those at the moment because I need to start the clearings to start the game off. So we'll do that in a second. Just show you around the rest of the board. We've got the bottom right hand corner. These are your actions for your faction. Again, this will look very different depending on what faction you are, because you can do different things. And as I said, press the L button, you get this player mat up. So it tells you a couple of things what you do. You've got your basic player mat here, Marquis de Cat at the top. You've got two special abilities. Well, yeah, two special abilities. The Field Hospital. So when one of your characters dies in battle, if you've got the matching card to the area that they lost the battle in, you can discard that, send your character back to the hospital and have them respawn. And then your other sort of ability is the Keep, which is an area that only you can keep pieces in. And if we look further down here, this is how the Marquis de Cat scores points, and it's by building things on the map. That is how they score points. So you've got three things you can build: a workshop, a sawmill, and a recruit hut. And for each of those that you build, you can see a little track there. You see how many points you'll get at the end of your turn for how many you've got. So for example here, if we have a look at workshops at the top, if we built one, you'd put a little marker on the 0 there, and we would get 0 points at the end of each turn. But if we had built two or three of those markers would be filled in, and we get 2 points at the end of each turn, and then up to 3, 4, 5, as you can see on the rest of the track. Same with the sawmills, 0 points if you've built one, and then it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And same for the recruiters. The only difference on the recruiters is that you get an extra card at the end of, or if you've got 3 or if you've got 5 on the board, you get a card as well at the end of the turn. The cost to build is underneath, a little marker with the sort of logs underneath. That goes up as well, so it costs more to build more of the buildings. Over here we've got our crafted items. You can craft items from your hand as long as you've got the matching symbols on your cards. We'll look at that in a second, but that's where they will be here. And you can see down here we've currently got 3 cards in our hand, and we've got 25 pieces. The Marquis de Cat starts with a lot of pieces, and starts with a lot of pieces out on the board as well. Again, if you've not seen the actual physical board game, have a look at it, because it's just absolutely beautiful. Very similar artwork to this, but the actual pieces that you use are beautiful. Little wooden cutout animals, just really nice. If we tap the R button, click the R button in, it flips the card over. Again, it's similar to the board game. On the back of the board game card, you've got this guide of what you can do in each phase of the game. There's 3 phases: birdsong, daylight, and evening. And you can see here what each faction can do. And once again, sorry to keep going over it, but each faction can do different things at different times of day. That's why it's a very complicated game to explain, because of this asynchronicity. So Marquis de Cat and birdsong, you can place 1 wood at each sawmill. That's what happens automatically. So each sawmill gets a wood put out at the start of each day. In the daylight part, this is where the main actions take place. You can craft a card from your hand, and then you can take up to 3 actions. You can battle, march, recruit, build, or overwork. Again, we'll have a look at those in a second. And then in the evening, when your turn's finished, you get to draw a card, and you get an extra card for each one showing on the track, as we just explained. And then you can have a maximum of 5 cards in your hand. The Eerie Dynasty board, not really going to explain too much about this because they are reasonably complicated, but their whole thing is they have this leader card that you put into this decree. You see this little table on the left hand side here, and these are recruit, move, fight, and build, like a little track. And you basically take cards from your hand and put them into this track. Then on your turn, you work left to right on that track, doing each of the actions. So recruiting, moving, fighting, and building in the areas of the symbols that are on those cards. And as soon as you can't take one of those actions, so for example, say recruiting here. Say if we've got a recruiting action in a rabbit clearing with a rabbit symbol on it, and we've got no more coops, like the buildings where our new recruits come from. If we haven't got a coop in a rabbit clearing, then our decree crumbles because we can't take that action. You must take every action that you can here. And if you can't take the action, your decree crumbles, you lose all your cards, you have to pick a new leader and basically start again in a new dynasty. See the special actions at the top. We've got Lords of the Forest. You rule any clearings where you're tied in presence. So if you've got one of your characters there, and the Marquis de Cat have got one of their characters there, and Normally that would be a tie, but it's decided here that if you're the Erie Dynasty, you actually win that clearing, and you can take your actions there and build in, for example. And then they've got disdain for trade as well. When crafting items, you score only 1 victory point regardless of what's on the card. They've got these roosts. This is how they score points each turn. So again, similar track to the buildings on the Marquis de Cat. So if they've got 1 roost, they score no points. 2 roosts, 1 point, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 fours, and then a 5 each turn. So theoretically, if you had 5 roosts, you could win the game in 6 turns, because that would add up to 30 points. Obviously, it doesn't work out that way. But you also score points for trading and crafting items as well. Again, start with 3 cards in a hand. Start with 20 pieces off the board. You don't get to put all those out like you do with the Marquis de Cat. Flipping the board over. This is their turn order stuff, so we won't go too far into that. Just know, for example, there they've got different actions they can take in birdsong, daylight, and evening. You'll see that as the game goes on. Talking of which, let's crack on with it. So the first thing we do as the Marquis de Cat is choose a clearing to put our keep, and this is where we sort of spawn from. This is where our injured pieces will go back to if they lose in battle and we recover them. Doesn't really matter too much. There's a lot of sort of stuff on Board Game Geek about what the best clearing is to take. I don't really mind. Let's take the top left hand corner to build our keep. And we start with a character there. We get to put out a sawmill, and it has to be linked by a pathway to your keep. So these are the main areas in this top corner that we can put a sawmill. Again, doesn't matter too much. Well, it does count in battle that you've got a piece, so it's better to spread out a little bit. We get a workshop as well. We'll put that in a different area. And that's built there, and we get to put a recruit hut out as well, and we'll build it up there. Again, not worrying too much about strategy at this point. Just demoing the game to you. So we've now got to click the continue button. Bottom right hand corner is the X button there, the little play icon. And the Erie Dynasty put their stuff out, so they've got their coop out. And we're in a crafting phase now. So this is the first phase of the game. Let's have a little look at the state of the map. We can zoom out with the ZL button. And you can see there, everywhere there's a little, if we zoom in, does it change it to the characters actually? Yeah, so you can see our characters there, the little cats in every clearing. If we zoom out, you get a bit of view of that. Everywhere there's a little cat head with a 1 in it, that's one of our pieces. So we basically put a piece in every single clearing, apart from the clearing opposite to where our keep is. And then that's where the Erie Dynasty go. So they've got their coop down in the bottom right hand corner with 6 of their pieces in. We zoom in on them. You can see their keep there, or coop, sorry, and 6 of their pieces. So we get to craft the card. We've got the cards at the bottom. If you hold down Y, you can look at the cards. Now to craft the card, on the top left of the card is the symbol. The claw symbol there is like a wild card, but usually you'd have a rabbit or a fox. You see this is a rabbit card, and there's a fox and a, what's the other one? Mouse, I think. The 3 suits, or you can have this claw suit here, which is a wild card. Underneath that, you've got a little wooden board with a symbol on it. That means how many pieces in those clearings, or how many of those clearings you control, would probably be the easy way to say it. It's going to cost you to craft this card. So at the moment, we've got pieces in pretty much every clearing, so we could craft this card. And at the bottom, you get a bonus. At the moment, we get a movement and a victory point. This card here, we'd need to control 2 rabbit clearings, 2 of the yellow clearings, and then the bonus here is at the start of daylight we can initiate a battle, which is quite handy. And the birdie bindle here, we need a clearing controlled in the mouse area, and we get 1 victory point. And this other bag item, basically in the board game you get little chits with each of these items on that you put on your board just to show that you've crafted them. So we could, let's craft that actually. There we go, as long as we've got a crafting tool. And we've got our first victory point. Victory points, bottom left hand corner. We've got 1 now in the top right, top left hand corner, the Eerie Dynasty got 0. Obviously, they haven't gone yet. So we're now in the daylight phase. So you can see that by the sun over in the bottom right hand corner, and the 3 behind it says that we've got 3 actions. So the first action that we probably want to take, remember our focus is on building buildings. That's how we get points. If you remember our board here, we can see we've got some actually at the moment. So the 0 is highlighted at the moment on each of those tracks now because we've got 1 building of each of those types, and they're worth 0 points at the moment. So the next building we build, the next workshop we build, is going to cost us 1 wood, and we're going to get 2 points at the end of the phase. Next sawmill we build will cost 1 wood, and we'll get 1 point. The next recruit hut we build will get 1 point and cost 1 wood. So probably the workshop is the best thing to build for in terms of points, but also recruiters. We want to keep plenty of recruiters up, but then also sawmills. You know, you need the wood to build the buildings, and we're all about buildings, so probably sawmills actually are the most important. So let's build a sawmill. Let's do that first. Let's go across in the bottom bottom right hand corner. Pick our hammer action, and this is where we can choose a clearing to build in. We're going to build, let's try and keep them protected. Let's build down in this corner. We're going to build a sawmill. It's going to cost us 1 wood. We've got 1 wood. You can see that in the bottom left hand corner on our little graph there. We've got 14 pieces, 1 wood, and crafted 1 card. So we built a sawmill, and we get an extra point for that. So we've now got 2 points. And bottom right hand corner, you can see we've got 2 actions left. So we can recruit, we can move, or we can do this thing called overwork, where basically we spend a turn to craft or to produce more wood, I should say, which might not be a bad thing. Now we've built another sawmill, so let's do overwork. We need to discard a card to do that. We're gonna discard the command warrant. And we get some more wood, which means we can build again. Let's do that just now. Let's build here, and let's build a recruit hut. Can we do that? We can do that. This is where we can get more pieces on the board and become stronger. The other action mark here the cat can do is to discard a card to take another action, which I'm now considering. I think I'm going to do that actually. We're going to discard that card, and we're going to recruit. We're going to recruit in. It recruits in all of the openings that you've got recruit huts basically. So that was our turn. So we built a few things. We've got 3 points. We've got another couple of pieces out on the board, and we did some crafting. So now the Eerie Dynasty are running through their decree. They've set their decree up. They've done a move there. They've moved 4 pieces into an opening. Built a roost because they control the area, so they get an extra point. That's how they get their points. And they haven't chosen to battle. I think we can see their decree if we press across. Yeah, so this is their decree now. You can see it building up. They've got, they need to do a recruit in a rabbit clearing. They need to do a move in any clearing. Again, remembering the claw symbol is a wild card, so they can move in any area. They've got no fighting. They don't need to do any fighting, but they do need to build in any area as well each turn. The benefit of having the wildcard symbols in their decree means obviously they can go into any clearing and do that action. But when their decree crumbles, I think, if I remember this rightly, they lose 2 points per card they have to get rid of. See if it says there, but it's something like it's either 1 point or 2 points. I'm sure they lose when they get rid of those cards. So our turn, we've got no cards that we can craft. Our current card here requires us to have a 2 rabbit clearings. So 2 of the yellow symbols you can see on the board there on the left hand side of the card. That would get us 3 points and loads of money, so that is worth having. So let's have a look, see if we can get some of our pieces into rabbit clearings. So we can see a rabbit clearing in the bottom left hand corner there. We've got 1 piece there. And 1 piece there as well. So why can't we craft that? That's quite interesting. In the middle of the board there, we've got more rabbit clearings that we control. So why can't we craft that card? Okay, a bit puzzled by that. Okay, so it's saying we've got no cards we can craft. We're going to continue. I beg to differ on that, but probably overlooking something. So our next action, we can see here what the Eerie Dynasty did. They moved 4 pieces and built a roost in this area, and if they choose to battle at any time, we're going to struggle. So we're probably going to need to move some pieces into here. So let's do a recruit action to get some more bodies on the board. So we've now got 3 here, and then we're going to move those. So we're going to do a move action. So we're going to move from this clearing to this clearing, and you get to choose how many you want to march there. We're going to march all 3. That would give us 4 pieces in that clearing versus the Eerie Dynasty's 4 pieces. So you see that there, the 3 go in. And we've kind of abandoned this clearing a little bit. We have still got our recruiter there. We can do another move action. Probably not going to do that. Oh, actually, we've got some over here, haven't we? So we can move. We can start spreading out from here. Let's spread out. Let's take 2 of them over to that clearing and start moving around the map. So that's that. We're now going to do a battle to try and regain control and certainly knock some of the Eerie Dynasty pieces off in this area here. Now, you'll see it in a second, but just to give you a quick primer, in the battle phase, there's 2, I think they're hexagonal dice, or octagonal dice. But even though they've got many faces on, there's only up to 3 numbers on there. There's 0, 1, and 2. So 3 different numbers that you can choose from when rolled. The aggressor, so the person who starts the battle, always gets the higher number that's rolled of the 2 dice. And then basically each character loses that many pieces regardless of who initiated the battle. So it's quite a cool system. You'll see it now played out. So we're going to battle that enemy. Get this little animation. The 2 dice get rolled. Oh, actually 0 to 3. That makes more sense. Now, the Eerie Dynasty had an ambush card, which means they automatically kill 2 of our pieces. That gets played before any dice are rolled. So we lose 2. The dice roll there, we didn't really get a chance to speak about it, but was a 2 and a 0. So I get the 2 as the higher number, and I get to remove 2 of their pieces. So it's kind of, we both removed 2 pieces in that battle. Now, also mentioned at the start, one of our special abilities is that we can discard a card in the matching area of a clearing where we had a battle to return those pieces back to our keep. And it basically means they go back to the keep, but we can start moving them again immediately. If we don't recover them at the field hospital, they come off the board, and the only way we can get them back on the board again is to recruit them, which obviously costs an action. So probably worth doing, seeing as we can't craft this card for some reason. So we're going to do that. We're going to discard that card and get both of our pieces back in the field hospital. That's all of our actions. So we're going to end our turn pressing X. We get a new card. We'll have a look at that in a second. We'll only do like 1 or 2 more turns. I think you're getting the gist of it. But we won't play a full game. But you can see it's a really, really nice board game. And if you're into sort of your digital board games and your tactical stuff and asynchronous play, then say this is an absolutely great game. And the online is really good as well. I think it might be cross-platform. Pretty sure it is. When I play on the iPad, I'm sure I'll get PC players in there. So hopefully that carries over to the Switch. Again, it says we can't craft the card. So look what we've got those. Sappers in battle as a defender may discard this to deal an extra hit. It costs us 1 mouse clearing. Again, I'm sure we've got that. We're in a mouse clearing at the moment, but we don't control it. The Eerie Dynasty do, because they've got 3 pieces and a roost, and we've only got 2 cats. So have we got any other mouse clearings? We've got this one over here. So why? I'm quite sure why we don't control that. I have to look into the rules of that. So anyway, again, it says we've got no cards we can craft. So we'll pass on that. We've got 3 actions we can take. Certainly want to do some building, I think. Also, it might be worth trying to initiate a battle here as well again. So I think we're going to recruit first because it will get us some pieces in at least this recruit space. We can move them over here and try and have another battle. That'll be the second action. And then the third action will build. So let's do that. Let's recruit. So we get an extra piece there. Extra piece there. May have actually been smarter to build first because we could have got another recruiter out, then recruited and got 3 pieces. Not thinking ahead. Let's do a... We need to do a move first. Oh yeah, we need to move, don't we actually? Ideally we need to move. We can burn that sapper's card. That's fine. We're gonna move this new warrior into this area to give us parity in that area. So we've got 3 of our characters, 3 of the Eerie Dynasty. We get to do another move. So let's spread out again here. This is where we moved 3 over to the top right hand corner. Let's move them down here. Let's actually move 2 into this space to give us... It gives us more warriors than the characters there, but the fact that they've got a roost there as well, the little roost building, means that we've both got effectively 3 pieces in the area. And if you remember, the Eerie Dynasty's special ability is that in a tie in an area, they control the area. So you can see they're just under the fox symbol, the red fox symbol. There's the blue Eerie Dynasty symbol to show that they control it. So that was the movement. Let's do a battle. Now, where are we going to do the battle? We can choose to do it in either of these 2 spaces. Doesn't really matter massively, I don't think. Let's stick to here. So again, roll 2 dice, assuming you know he's got any cards to play. I take the higher value, so I take the 3. The Eerie Dynasty take the 2. Those amount of pieces are cleared out of the area. So I lose 2. They lose all of their pieces, but we didn't get rid of the roosts, so they can still use the roost there. Now we can use that card to get our warriors back, but I don't want to do that. We're going to use that card instead to get an extra action, and then we're going to build a new recruit to get 2 points and an extra card at the end of the turn. So we're up to 5 points now, and the Eerie Dynasty are on 3. And that's our turn done. So we get 2 cards this time because of the extra recruit we built then pushed us up on the track. We'll have a look at that in a sec. So that's clearer. You see the Eerie Dynasty having their turn. They're doing some moving. They're building a roost up there, so they get another 3 points now. They've got 4 roosts. We need to really start taking some of these roosts off the board. That's what we're trying to do with this combat. If we just have a quick look at the state of the game, you see here we've got 1 workshop still creating us 0 points each turn. We've now got 2 sawmills which give us 1 point each turn, and we've now got 3 recruiter huts which give us 2 points each turn. So basically each turn at the moment, if things stay as they are, we're getting 3 points each turn. And the next recruiter hut is going to cost us 4 points. And we've got this crafted item, 10 pieces left, 2 cards. And if you have a look at the decree, now obviously you have to put at least 1 card in the decree each turn as the Eerie Dynasty. You can't just leave it as it is. You have to keep building and building and building it. So it stands to reason at some point they are going to not be able to do their decree because they're going to have too many actions in it that they can't fulfill. So this decree, at the minute they've got 2 recruits. You see there in the rabbit and mouse areas, 2 moves in a wild card area and a rabbit area. Still not got any fighting cards, so they can't initiate a battle. And they can build in any area. But at some point soon, as I say, this is all going to crumble probably on the next turn. And they will lose some points. they will change the leader, and each leader has a different special ability. You can see at the top there, the sort of eagle-looking character is called the Despot, and his special ability is if you remove at least one enemy building or token in battle, score 1 point. But each of their 4 different types of leaders have a different special ability, so there's that consideration as well. So lots and lots of strategy. Now, as I say, the other characters in the game, the Woodland Alliance and the Vagabond, have got very, very different ways of playing as well. The Vagabond is literally one character, and he makes his points by sneaking around the areas. He can move through trees rather than sticking to the paths. And if you look at on the board, you can see these chests sort of hidden. He can actually open those and get items out of them. The Woodland Alliance are a strange bunch as well. They go around leaving sort of leaflets in clearings to basically get support from the other animals, and they kind of like to work in a team, and they do a lot of trading. A couple of different complex systems there. So as I say, everyone plays very differently, and if you're playing a sort of 3 or 4 player game and you've got all of these different factions in, it can be quite hard to keep up with who's doing what, and it just makes it a lot more fun as well, because you're never really sure who's kind of doing well unless you know the game extremely well. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I hope that's shown you enough of the game. You can see here these turns will continue until somebody reaches 30 points. We just keep building and fighting and spreading out armies around the board. That's my concern, and the Erie Dynasty is to keep building these coops and defending them, making sure I don't take them off the board, because if I do, they start losing points. And first to get to 30 points wins. It's a really cool game. Highly recommend it. I mean, Direwolf Digital's quality of board games is superb. They've released some really good ones on the Switch, and their back catalogue of digital games is well worth checking out. So do that if you're interested in board games, and hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, please leave them below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.